Hi everyone, it's Phyllis here for the April newsletter. And gosh, what a month it's been, a month of developing new skills, having to hit the ground running. We've been in our bubbles, we've had to communicate differently. It's all learning new skills, even myself in my virtual background, which I thought I'd just pop on today just for something different. So we're all having to just do things just slightly differently. And how has that been for you? How has your bubble been? For myself, I think I've really enjoyed coming back to self. I've had a real journey of coming back to self. And for many of you, you'll know that this has been my first true month of not actually giving personal sessions. I took that decision back in November last year to stop doing personal sessions. And April has been a really wonderful month of coming back to me, myself, I, and that's the heading I've put on the newsletter. Finding myself, actually finding space for my hobbies, finding space on how I support myself, giving myself space to heal and rest, giving myself to accommodate to the bubble, my kind of bubble. What does my bubble look like? And also, once again, I'm really drawn back to that process of me, myself, I. Well, who am I? Who am I? After years and years of giving service to other people, who is Phyllis Brown? What is she? What does she do? What's her passion? What's my why, as we say in the business world? So I'm having to really think about all of those things and reconnect to some of the things that I've sort of laid on the back burner for quite some time. And for those of you who know me and have known me for quite some time, teaching is my passion. And so getting the Phoenix Light Foundation student level courses all finished, all up and running, launching the new course, the animal communication course, that's just been so exciting. It's been wonderful to have this space to create and be creative. And now I'm looking at the teacher training courses to come in the very near future and creating them as an online platform. So finding me, myself, and I, what does it actually mean? And I think I'm really reminded of that we are here. We develop tools. We're in this planet. We're on the planet. It's just behind me there. We develop tools. We develop strategies. We go through many, many, many experiences that teach us things about ourselves. And when it comes to times like this, when we're in extraordinary circumstances, what are the tools that we intrinsically hold that we then delve in, we pull out, we utilize, that gets us through this period of time? Because me, myself, I can only save myself. I can't save everyone. I can't save my partner. I can't save my son. I can only save myself. You can only save yourself. And while we get really distracted by helping other people and supporting other people, all the while what needs to be dealt with in our own back garden, it's weeds, it just is untended, it's unnurtured, it's unloved. And I think that's what I've really realized with myself. I'm so busy servicing other aspects of my business that the student courses weren't quite finished, the graphics weren't quite finished, or things, the videos. I had some courses where I just had to finish some videos before I could publish them. And so getting those published so that everything feels nurtured and it feels wonderful, and there's growth there. So a big warm welcome to all of my new online students who've just joined us in April, and in May we've had quite a few new starts in May, which is exciting. So when we neglect to tend to our own needs, me, myself, and I, then we've what are we nurturing? What our hopes and our desires can just lie to one side because we're so distracted, or we think it's the too hard basket, or we think it's a journey that's just not worth taking, or it's maybe just a wish and a dream. Maybe it is a wish and a dream that we have that we are not going to nurture or tend to because we're so destructive over here. And I think it's really interesting to come back to what my strengths are. My strengths are creating courses. I love creating courses. So I'm helping Hydra, our family business, in creating our technical data manual, how we make our product. I find that really exciting. Michael may not find it as exciting. I find it exciting because it's like a jigsaw puzzle, putting it all together. I love it. Putting the courses together and getting them out to a new audience and finishing off courses, that's exciting. I've just been given an idea for a new online course. I won't say what it is because I'll need to figure out how to do it first. But if that can come about, I think that would be a really awesome online course. I've just, in my Energize NZ and my corporate massage business, I have put together our COVID-19 online training course. So it's playing to our strengths. This is my strength. My strength is creating product, teaching product, and nurturing those aspects of self. And it's really interesting. It's been an interesting journey to get off of the bus and climb onto a completely different bus on a completely different journey, and seeing what's on that bus, seeing who I've got on the bus that's supporting me along the way and how I can support myself. I think that in finding your tools, you can go through many different layers. So in finding your tools, you may need to revisit some events or some people of your past. And we maybe need to forgive those people. We need to thank those people for giving you the skills that you have today, giving you the tools that you're applying and implementing in the here and now. And for myself, I have actually started a program, a self-development program. It's actually a really, really deep program. I've come up to week 4 or lesson 4, and I've kind of stopped because I'm going to have to do some really deep work, some really deep digging work. I'm excited at the same time, and I've got this weekend to do all of that work, and that's exciting. I'm excited by that prospect. I'm excited by the awareness that that's going to bring into my life. I'm excited of doing some releasing work for stuff that's actually not important anymore. So I think for myself, I'll find new tools from all of that, and I'll have a different perspective of myself. So me, myself, I want you to think about that in as you come out and we start to explore our bubbles. Who actually do we want to include back into our bubble? You've been in your bubble for quite some time, and you've been isolated by that bubble, and you may not necessarily want to open up your bubble for some people to come back in. You might find that actually my bubble has served me really well. There might be some habits or practices within your bubble that you'll continue, and you'll think, well, actually that's best practice for me, so this is how I want to continue in my bubble. And there may be some friendships or family dynamics that will change because you've been in this bubble. So again, you come back to me, myself, and I. Who am I right now? And what serves me? What serves me in my life? And how can I support myself through all of this? And this, as we de-escalate and as we open ourselves up to different processes as we move forward. And so I think it's really important that you really look at who you have become, which aspects of yourself you want to retain, and which aspects you want to sort of maybe let go. It's an interesting time, a really, really interesting time. What has been interesting for me is that I've started the online academy 5 years ago now. And at the time, my students here in Christchurch, New Zealand, oh, I don't understand that. I like you, Phyllis, and I want to attend your classes, and I like the physical connection. And what has been really interesting is some of the students who have always maintained that they really like that physical connection, they've been saying, gosh, you've had such foresight to start your online academy. Well, I might just look at the online academy. I've got people joining now who've been on the peripheries of the online academy, but I've also got students who start with one course, a little bit like the physical classes, they go on to the next, the next, the next. So they're continuing their self-awareness, self-development journey, finding themselves, developing the tools that will help them accommodate changes as we move forward. And the one thing that is for sure, no one can say what our world is going to look like tomorrow because it's changing day by day. No one can say, well, what our world is going to look like by this time next year because it's changing day by day. But in coming back to self, in coming back to me, what serves me? How can I support myself? And what is your I? What is your why? I want to do this, or I want to do that. I want to support myself this way. I think that regardless of what changes as we move through the different levels of lockdown and as we change and adapt ourselves, I have a feeling that you will find that your tools that you've been investing in, for some of my students, investing in many a year, I've never stopped investing in myself, I have to say. This course that I'm doing, you know, it's a financial commitment that I've made. I'm going to do this course. I'm going to see it through because at the end of the day, it's about my journey. It's about how I see myself, how I perceive myself. It's not about how other people perceive me. That's not really important. It's about how I see myself. And I think that as we move forward and as we start to reap the benefits of the investments, whether it be financial, emotional, spiritual, mental, physical, as we reap the benefits of those investments that we make in ourselves, then you're always creating the best version of you. And that has to be commended. You know, that in itself is an absolute joy. So well done and congratulations on those of you who are already on that me, myself, I process and pulling your energy back and really supporting yourself, nurturing the garden that has maybe been unattended for quite some time, and pulling the weeds out, pull the dreams out that you think, actually, that's not my dream anymore. That isn't who I am anymore. That isn't what's important to me anymore, but plant different seeds. Put something else in that will give you that me, myself, I sort of process, that excitement of moving forward, because it's the journey. Sometimes it's not the goal. Just having a discussion with Nathan this morning. So sometimes it's not the goal. Sometimes it's always about the journey, because the journey is our learning ground. And for those of you that have maybe not read the book The Alchemist, or you maybe have read the book The Alchemist, haven't read it for quite some time, maybe that's a book that you would pick up right now and just invest some time. And that's a really easy read, but it is about the dream, but actually it was really about the journey. I'm not going to give any more about the book away, but you know, yeah, sometimes we hold on to dreams and the dream isn't actually the focus. It's how we get there. It's the journey. So interesting times. And that's really what I've been sort of looking at. And I have to say, I think for the first time in a long, long time, I had a Sunday there where I just did absolutely nothing. And it was, maybe sounds a bit self-indulgent, but I'm always doing something. I think for those of you who like to be busy, like to be creative, to actually just have a day out of time where we're not really doing anything, it's such a treat, it's such a privilege. And it was definitely an investment in me on that day, I have to say, on that Sunday. And I really had to look at myself and look at, well, what did I benefit from that? And actually, I just benefited a great deal of joy of giving myself some space. And no one else can do that but me. And again, that comes back to saving self, come back to saving yourself, back to me, myself, I. So it's been an interesting April. We've got this once in a lifetime, I don't know the actual dynamics of it, but we've got this once in a lifetime Pluto retrograde. We've got another 3 or 4 planets going into retrograde. It's been an emotional time. It's been lack of sleep. We've had physical ailments and adjustments going on. We've had a little bit of those flu-y, fevery type issues going on. And we're thinking, gosh, is it something bigger or is it just going to pass through? So we're having to really adjust and really sort of accommodate ourselves at the moment as the planets push and pull. Our planet, the one behind me, in and out of its usual magnetic fields. So there's a lot of that going on. So it's really interesting, really interesting times. And I hope that you have found aspects of yourself in your bubble that you thought you were lost, and you can start to build on those. The Phoenix Light Foundation is building as we speak. So I think I talked about the launch of the animal communication course is now live on the website. And also I've put on as another live course on the Phoenix Light Foundation, the Transform Your Life course. And that was a meditation course that I held here in our training room. And it just takes you through different aspects of who you are as a person. Transform Your Life coaching has always been where I started. It's always been something really dear to me. I think we can transform our lives. I don't think the events or people that come into our lives and impact us negatively necessarily can hold us in that space. I do think we have an opportunity to change our stars. And we're thinking about that movie, The First Night, I think it was, or I can't remember. But anyway, so we have that opportunity to really change who we are. We can't let people or events hijack our life. So Transform Your Life. There's lots of really good handouts with that. Meditations, I talk you through the handout, and then you've got the meditation. So you can repeat those meditations and those lessons until you can really see those transformations coming through for yourself. So that's really exciting as well. And the very first masterclass in crystal healing, a live class with me, and taking the students through the actual online crystal course, but talking to them, answering their questions, almost like being in the physical class. We're just not practicing the healings on each other, but you will be, if you do join the class, you will be expected to go out and practice your healing techniques on your family and your friends, etc., once the bubbles can expand. So that's really exciting. So looking forward to meeting the students who've already booked on that, and getting to know them and their crystal journey and what started them on their crystal journey. So, you know, things are moving on. Our bubbles are going to start expanding. Our knowledge, our tools, the way we work, the way we link together is constantly expanding. And I think that's exciting. I do think that's exciting. So that's our update for the energy in April as it's been. I'll see you again next month for our May edition of the newsletter. So until then, please take care. Keep your bubble safe as you expand it out. And I hope to see you here the next time. Bye for now.